Conflict in the Ukraine. The war we are all in. Despots around the world are aware that they suddenly have very little impediment to stop them doing anything they like. Traditional US allies no longer feel that they can trust their former friends in the US to be a reliable partner. A point not lost in either Moscow or Beijing, to name but two. But who wins in this latest engineered calamity? Both the United States and the United Kingdom are pouring money into the Ukraine in the form of weapons and other resources required to sustain a war. Other countries are also donating aid of various sorts from around the world, a world just recovering from the financial impact of COVID-19. The big pharmaceutical companies and their powerful lobbyists just had their lottery windfall from the pandemic and now the military-industrial complex. From the pandemic and now the military-industrial complex must have felt it was their turn, particularly after being disappointed by the end of foreign wars conducted by Western powers in the Middle East. They must have been desperate to find or create a new opportunity for themselves. On the one hand, Moscow feels threatened and cheated by the West. The West has broken the agreement to leave a buffer zone in place, with the European Union's expansionist policy coming right up to the border, which is, as former German Chancellor Angela Merkel put it, basically a declaration of war and could not be ignored by Moscow. So they knew exactly what they were doing when they basically forced the Russian president's hand. On the other hand, a proud and sovereign Ukraine, not so long free of the shackles of the Soviet Union, has extremely deep-seated reasons to want to stay free or die trying, and the will, population, and the military capability to put up a truly incredible fight. This all adds up to a perfect backdrop against which those that benefit can engineer a long-term and extremely expensive war. The point is, neither of these countries are winning here, and they never could. Both are losing lives and vast resources, but neither believes that they have a choice. That situation was carefully engineered to ensure their commitment. The only winners here are globalists and their corporate backers. The European Union's imperialist expansion by stealth drives them to greedily acquire more taxpayers in more states as quickly as possible. Members that are easily sold the false democracy the European Union is peddling to the buyer, voter, call it, make them an automatic target for acquisition. Adding new states with low-value currency to the Eurozone has the effect of artificially dampening down the value of the euro so that the two larger member states can continue to enjoy the export advantages that come with it and the cheap labour that flows from member states with less developed economies. Ask yourself this: what happens to the potential of the Ukraine under a European Union takeover? When are their best and brightest going to leave, and where are they going to go? We suggest spiraling national debt and a massive exodus of the best and brightest to the beneficiary developed nations of the European Union again. Repeat the same pattern we have seen time and time again. Of course, this delights the corporations which sponsor the European Union and their leaders in the Eurogroup and individual parliaments around Europe, though perhaps not quite as totally in control as they would like for now. That pesky thing called democracy keeps getting in the way of their ambitions for a post-democratic Europe, at least for the time being. The Eurogroup being the shadow, unaccountable organisation that actually runs the European Union behind the 5 unelected appointed presidents who actually hold more or less total power over the European Union and its members. See the links with the World Economic Forum for more. Meanwhile, in the United States, the vast military-industrial complex, which has sponsored so many a senator and even presidents and vice presidents, are now calling in those favours for their support. With the withdrawal from Afghanistan, they needed a new war to keep the purchase orders for weapons and ordnance flowing and growing. So you can bet those favours are being called in. One only has to look at the enormous spending on one particular contractor, not to pick on anyone in particular, but Lockheed Martin. To put things in context, the entire budget of the State Department is around $44.4 billion. Last year, spending with Lockheed Martin alone for that 1 year was $70 billion, one contractor. What a lucrative business. So who wins? It's not you, it's not me. It's certainly not the Ukraine or Russia. This is not really about Russia and the Ukraine, and it never was. Both parties are being manipulated by globalist corporate forces to secure more power, expand influence, and keep revenue flowing to the companies and organizations which put people in positions of power that they're in today. The only organization here that wins are those corporations and their puppets who do not care one whit how high the pile of bodies gets, so long as their grip on power grows and expands alongside their share price. This is what this war is about. Two states manipulated to a certain outcome by design and with no real alternative options. People die. The globalists get more powerful and control more of the world's wealth. It will be telling to see who benefits from walking into the wasteland of what Ukraine is going to be. Once this latest soul-destroying disaster is over, let's see who gains the ability to exploit the country's resources and former businesses. This war is not between the Ukraine and Russia. This war is between all of us, ordinary citizens that will be paying for it forever, and the globalists, their agenda, and the plans they are making for us.